Hey, hello! Wonderful to see you here. Welcome to our place. Welcome to this place in which we enjoy talking about Dracula. My name is Enrique Palafox, and I'm glad to have you here. I'm here with Dr. Magdalena Grabias from Poland. How are you,
Hi. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Excited to be here as always.
As always, yeah, glad to have you here. And Dr. Yuri Garcia from Brazil.
Hi, everybody. Same words as Magda. Very excited to be here again. And let's move on to the reading of some Dracula steps now.
Wonderful. So today is an important day because we are experimenting the last resource of Jonathan Harker in trying to escape from the castle. No, he is being trapped in there for a long time, for almost a couple of months. As we know, the novel starts in the 3 of May, so we are almost in a couple of months of his captivity into the castle. So today he's going to ask the count to be released as soon as possible, because the count has been playing this part of not let him know what is going on, and he always is playing this strange kind of relations of being nice, but they are, and they know the real game is underneath. So today we have this strange experience of the evilness of the count, because Jonathan asked him to be released as soon as possible, and the count agreed with him, and he asked him for leave as he command, and he opened the door of the castle, and in that precise moment all the wolves start surrounding the wolf, and Jonathan knows that could be the end. So that is very important part of the novel. So what do you think about this, guys?
Let me start. Oh, sorry, Yuri.
Yeah, feel free to
go.
start.
Okay. When you were speaking and reminding us of this moment, Enrique, I must say that I'm listening to it from the perspective of the 21st century reader, and I immediately had this very cinematic image in my head of these wolves gathering all around and not allowing Jonathan Harker to go out. But to be honest, when I'm thinking back to any adaptations of Dracula I've seen, I cannot recall if any of them used this very scene described in the book. I have all sorts of scenarios in front of my eyes, and this is always a very pivotal moment for the character that he's escaping. But for some reason, it's not the or maybe I don't remember some version. Please remind me. But the important fact cinematically is always stressed, the moment of he's gone from the castle. It's not how he's actually escaping from the castle so much, although it's shown in the movies, but the main focus is rather on him being in the castle, first of all, for these 2 months, as you said, various things happening, a lot of suspense being built in the castle and building this Gothic atmosphere, and then later on, bang, and he's gone, and he's heading to Budapest to the convent, or indeed he's already in the convent being taken care of by the nuns.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's
You're right.
interesting.
There's a couple of passages from the book that hasn't been adapted into any cinematic form, and this is one of them. No, this desperate asking for his release to the count, and the other one is the passage when the count releases the wolves to attack the mother of the baby who was given to the three sisters, and those are very powerful images that hasn't been translated into cinematic universes.
Maybe it's too traumatic for
I think, yeah, I think
mainstream cinema.
Yeah, I think the main difference over there is because of the explicitity of these scenes.
Yeah.
That when they are in literature,
Hmm.
they are based on descriptions, and they can be very horrifying in description, but they are still very uh, hold uh, held into our imagination.
Mm.
So it is easier for us to describe in a literary way some of these horrific things. When we talk about cinema, we are talking about a visual medium that has a lot of has the photographic reality aspect.
Mhm.
Cinema is not a realism medium. This is a very this is a very uh, uh, wrong idea of cinema. It's not. We are not talking about realism of cinema, but we have this visual ontological relation with photography that makes it that makes it has some certain terms of relation with realism, and these images are very impacting if you put them in cinema. The
Yeah.
thing is, we have movies that from Dracula that are very impacting in terms of horror, such as the book. But for them to be kind of equal, they can't do everything that's in the book, because if they get everything that's in the book in a very visual way, probably they're going to make something that is even heavier than the book, because these some things that are described in the book, if you put it in a representational medium, I think it's going to get even heavier and even more complicated for the audience. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a very
But you know
almost a
what?
Serbian film.
I found, yeah, almost a Serbian film, but you know what? There is an uncredited reference that I have found very specific with this relations of the power of Dracula with the wolves, and it is the character of Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones when he releases his dogs uh, to attack actually a mother with a baby, no,
Yeah.
and the scene is, man, I believe it's one of the most horrific scenes I have ever seen in commercial TV, because it
Yeah.
was very well directed, and I was seeing Game of Thrones, but in my mind I keep the referencing Dracula by Bram Stoker, because it's almost a photocopy of the scene.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
I never thought about it, to be honest.
yeah, I
The
think
connection when I was watching it, but it's excellent. And of course, Games of Thrones is quite violent from
Yeah,
start to finish, and it's a completely different era of filmmaking, TV
definitely.
making. You know. That was,
yeah.
yeah, and this
I,
character was a nasty piece of work as well.
Nasty. Yeah, yeah,
Nowhere
I,
near
I,
our Dracula.
yeah.
I love this parallel. Very interesting. I've never thought about it before as well. But there's one thing that we can see in this comparison, because Game of Thrones, we have lots of characters, we have lots of different
Mm.
uh, narratives over there. It's very open, and Ramsey is probably the most horrific character that we have in the whole series.
The most
He's
chaotic,
probably
evil character.
Yeah,
yeah, he's the most evil character, and everything related to Ramsay are probably the heaviest parts of Game of Thrones in terms of evil,
Yeah.
maybe.
Mm.
At least I've, in my opinion, and and the thing that makes makes it a little more possible in this, in my opinion, is because Game of Thrones, it's not only a Ramsay narrative. Because if it was only a Ramsay narrative, I think probably it would be a very different thing. It
Yeah.
would be a very horrific uh, genre, and not necessarily this fantastic world that Game
Yeah.
of Thrones proposes.
Yeah.
So you have Ramsey on one side, but you have other narratives that are funny and romancing and
more
other.
fantastic, and yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
but if you had only Ramsey over there, probably it would be a it would
Dracula,
be a very very
probably
gothic.
it will be like Dracula.
that's
Yeah,
what
it
I
would
was
be like
thinking. Do you
Dracula.
think that he's actually Dracula of this universe?
Maybe
Ramsay.
because I can see the footprint of Dracula in so many characters all over the popular culture, and with this specific scene, I can relate the evilness of Ramsay Bolton, very inspired in Count Dracula.
Wow. Well, I think that it's even taken even further, because when you read a book, in a way, you can't stop being enthralled and a little bit in love with the character of Dracula.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if I can think the same about Ramsay Bolton in
Oh
Game
yeah,
of Thrones.
Yeah, the character that I think has a better, for me, has a better parallel with Dracula and pop culture is Hannibal Lecter, because I think they are both charming. They are both trying to they act in cannibalistic ways, and they are very intelligent characters that are planning everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in this aspect, I think
I
that
like
this the
I like.
character that I see in popular culture that has more relation to 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 Dracula would be Hannibal Lecter. But in another side, Hannibal Lecter is a persona that has a code of honor in
Yeah,
the
he's very
sexuality
Yes.
restricted.
aspects.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he has a
He
code
has
of
a
honor in the
code.
sexuality aspects.
Uh,
There's even this scene that's very interesting that he in Silence of the Lambs that he and Clarice they are talking,
yeah.
and one of the other inmates from that are over there made some sexual disgusting thing with Clarice, and she gets horrified, and Hannibal Lecter rushes over there to
Yeah.
say that he was sorry, and so he has this
Mhm.
sexuality code of honor that
Mhm.
Dracula doesn't have. Dracula is a as we said a rapist,
Predator, yeah.
predator. He
Then,
doesn't
then,
have this.
then again,
Dracula is heavier than Hannibal Lecter actually.
then again, we have the footprint of Count Dracula in Hannibal Lecter. So
Mhm.
the personality of Count Dracula is so complex that it has to be divided in so many characters, because we can also find Count Dracula in so many comic books, like Batman, for instance, or because of the Gothic motives and this kind of thing, or Doctor Strange or Ra's al Ghul, this villain from Batman, is a copycat of Batman, because he can he rise from the dead, and he has the pointy cape, and he's very copycat of Dracula.
Uh-huh. Well, if we take it even further, we can look at what's happening in children's cinema, and not to look very far,
Mm.
Hotel Transylvania, and how the character was developed for this very series. And I don't think that it ever happens to Hannibal Lecter, for instance. So it has some, at some point, Dracula has had some basis and backgrounds for becoming this lovable character that children are going to follow and enjoy watching. And he's a granddad as well of a
Yeah,
human child.
yeah.
So
Well,
that's quite an
And
amazing and unexpected. I think that Dracula would be surprised himself.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. He will.
yeah, I think that when we talk about these characters that the cinema they use and abuse of them, like Dracula and Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah,
they start getting a very chameleonic aspect,
yeah.
and they start being reimagined in very diverse ways. I
Mm.
think Dracula more than Sherlock Holmes, but even Sherlock Holmes, it is a very, very strict persona. You can see like Guy Ritchie's
Because he
movies
had
from
the
Sherlock
benefit
Holmes. He's an
of
action hero.
illustration. Sherlock Holmes had the benefits from the beginning of having illustrations. and that establish well the character. In Dracula, it's is the as Henry Jenkins, the professor in the United States, says, is part of the participatory culture, and everyone that has put their hands into Dracula's mythos has put something into it, making the narrative even larger.
Mhm.
Yes, and even if you think in this way, for example, Sherlock Holmes had all of these benefits to develop a very close character that is specifically like this. And then you have the last versions of Sherlock Holmes with Guy Ritchie. And there's a totally different character over there.
Yeah.
We don't have the rationality character. We have an action hero. He's an action hero. It's a totally action
Very
hero
young,
movie.
very physique.
Yeah, so lots of fight scenes of him, and of course they imagine they put the rationality behind of the fights, but in the end they are fight scenes, and so even Sherlock Holmes, that's a very well developed character with illustrations and everything to be very specific. He has this mutability. Dracula is totally chameleonic. Dracula, you have everything, and especially this process of domestication from the character that he comes from the literature as a very bad representation of evil over there. He's a very bad person, a total representation of evil. And nowadays he's Hotel Transylvania. He is stuff for kids, and he is a hero,
Or
and he's all
advertising cookies.
That is why I keep asking for a horror version of Dracula, very accurate with Bram Stoker novel, because I mean to see this in images should be amazing.
But you think it's time to get back to the beginning. Well, I can't for some reason. After Bela Lugosi, after Nosferatu, even so. Well, I'm talking at the very beginning of adaptations. But I don't think that it's possible right now to get back to the image that Bram Stoker did gave us in his book. So this long moustache, and it's a completely different looking character. I'm not sure that people are going to be ever ready for such a vision on the screen.
But there's one curious fact that lots of people don't know. There is a version of Dracula with Christopher Lee from 1970, directed from Jess Franco, called Count Dracula, that visually is very similar to the Dracula described in the book.
With a mustache.
But in terms of personality, cinema didn't get close to the literature Dracula yet, but I think we had a few representations that, at least in my opinion, get at least the general aspect over there of Dracula that are for the series that Magda loves, and I like and dislike. There, I have my moments, but the series that this recent series that Magda likes and talks about every time, I think they did a very good job in getting the essence of Dracula, and I think that Christopher Lee in the first Hammer movies, as well, he was a very good portrayer of the Dracula essence over there. Especially because there was this very alpha male fighting dispute that he had with Van Helsing, that was Peter Cushing in the movies. So I think that the sexuality aspect is more vivid in Christopher Lee as well, and this evil aspect. I think in those movies they portrayed this a little better. Of course, they forgot lots of other aspects from Dracula. There's no perfect version from Dracula in cinema, but each of them portrays in a very interesting way some aspects. And I think that Christopher Lee, the essence of the character, was very well portrayed in Christopher Lee in the first movies.
Maybe the solution is to make an edit of all Dracula's representation and make a new version with the specific moments.
And I think that we should make people vote for their favorite representation as well.
Okay,
The thing
guys.
is,
There is going to be
Christopher,
some really furious discussion here.
Christopher Lee is a very good candidate
Yeah,
because maybe he
definitely.
doesn't have the best Dracula, but he has millions of Draculas. He has more than 10
Yeah,
representations of
yeah,
Dracula. So we are, and Christopher Lee is an actor that got really famous in pop culture
yeah, yeah,
for being
yeah.
this villain, being a bad guy, and he's a villain in millions of other movies, and especially some very recent movies that are very popular
Count,
in our
Count
Yeah, like
contemporary
the Lord
Dooku,
of
culture.
the Rings, not to
Count
Lord of the
forget.
Dooku,
Rings and Star Wars.
Count Dooku is Count
He's a very
Dracula.
bad villain in both of them. So
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
very
Count Dooku is Count Dracula. It's
yes.
almost the
Count
same.
Dooku is Count Dracula.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Christopher Lee. The only thing that he didn't surprise was the Bela Lugosi image because that was first.
Yes,
Because
yes.
in so many ways, Christopher Lee is the embodiment of Dracula.
Yeah, the thing is, Christopher Lee, I think he followed a pattern,
Yeah,
an imagetic pattern that is very similar to Bela Lugosi.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
instead of they having this confliction of imaginary, I think that Christopher Lee actually he revives Bela Lugosi's image, and I think he's responsible for making Bela Lugosi's image even more present
yeah,
because he works on top of that stereotype that Bela Lugosi creates.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and I agree. I agree that he developed all the best things that Bela Lugosi brought to the table. Like Christopher Lee developed in his own direction in a way, but with a lot of respect to this first Tolkien creation, and also why it's so important and people can relate to it is the fact that it was already the 50s, so a little bit earlier later. It's color and the blood is shown for the first time, as if I'm not wrong, in Dracula movie. So we have this red and the impact of a lot of other visuals that were
yeah,
not available
yeah,
in the 30s.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it stays in our mind.
Taking that in
Christopher
mind,
Lee is not only the first. Christopher Lee is not only the first time that we see Dracula with blood in the movies, but I think it's the first time that you see Dracula's teeth biting. Because Bela
Hmm.
Lugosi, you never see Bela
Yeah,
Lugosi
exactly. You couldn't.
visually biting his. You only see this. Uh, he
Of
doing
course,
like
it's
this.
but Hays Code didn't allow such things on screen.
Yeah,
So.
you don't see the explicitity in the biting. So Christopher Lee is, I think it's the first time as well. So it's a very visual impacting movie series that you have over there with Christopher Lee. And I think it's interesting this thing that Magda said of making a very respectful homage. And that we were talking about, and how this revives the character, because I think it's the same thing that happened with Nosferatu in the two versions.
mhm,
I think that Klaus Kinski made a very Klaus Kinski, Werner Zog, the team
Yeah.
over there, the fighting team. They made a very interesting version of Nosferatu that, instead of conflicting with the original version, brought elements of the original version into the table again, and helped for us to have this Nosferatic image again in our pop culture,
definitely.
especially because we are talking about this German movie, German cinema that we have in that time was very popular. It was an artistic
Yeah,
movement, but it was
yeah,
a very popular one,
yeah,
and that had lots of influence in the United States.
Yeah.
So afterwards, we start having lots of vampires in popular culture that
yeah.
are similar to Nosferatu.
Yeah, but I don't want to be stubborn, but I have to disagree with Magda. I think the audience is ready for a horror version of Dracula.
Oh
For a
no, that's not
truly,
what I said. I'm absolutely sure that they are ready for a horror version, for a really horrific
mm,
version. I was only referring to the image. I'm
Oh yeah,
saying that the image is so strongly incorporated in our minds that I don't think that we can get back to what Dracula, sorry,
yeah,
to
you're
what
probably
Bram
right.
Stoker proposes.
You are probably right. Yeah, because nowadays it's more sexualized, and yeah, it's that powerful image. To go back to the origin is going to be hard.
Yeah, but again, if someone proves me wrong, then I'll be very happy with that. Please bring him on.
Yes. Okay, guys. So
Uh,
that's it for today. Any final comment or on the escape of Jonathan Harker, and we are finishing the first third of the novel right now.
I
Personally,
have
I'm
a
very happy that he succeeded in escaping finally, because
Go, Jonathan, go!
that was a lot of suspense going to this
Yeah,
moment, and it's very frustrating when you're reading the book and in the movies as well. So
yeah.
well done, Jonathan.
Well done, John.
I think I have some final comments. I think it's very interesting because we are talking about the final moment of Jonathan Harker uh, beginning of his journal,
Yeah,
his diary,
yeah,
and this closes the part that we are talking about, something that Lovecraft likes to use a lot. That is the fear of the unknown.
yeah.
Dracula in the first part of the novel, he's still the unknown, and
Yeah,
Jonathan
no,
Harker doesn't
completely.
know
Yeah,
what he is dealing with. And
yeah,
afterwards, this is going to be a part that passes to the next part of the book, that starts explanations about vampirism and what
yeah,
that being is.
yeah.
So this is like the moment that we are closing the idea of this menace that nobody knows exactly what it is, and it causes panic because it's frightening, and
Yeah.
also because you don't know what it is exactly.
I
So
love it.
I think this is a very important part for us to close over here, because
Wonderful.
it's the unrevealed threat in that Jonathan Harker feels.
It sounds. It's amazing. I mean, I love this passage, and yeah, I'm so glad to discuss this with you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
So
you,
same
Enrique.
on this side. Yeah, it was very nice to talk to you again, guys.
wonderful, wonderful, guys, and we have so many surprises for all the subscribers of this channel. So stay tuned because we have surprises for you. Thank you, Magda.
See you
Thank you,
next
Yuri.
time. Thank you.
See you soon,
Bye
guys.
bye, guys.
Thank
It
you.
Bye.
was great.
It was great. Thank you. Bye bye.